The resignation of Adamu Abdullahi as APC national chairman is a bad sign of things to come. It is a danger sign. I know many people are happy that, oh, it's a sign of infighting within the APC. Yes, it is, actually. But then, for the greater Nigeria, there is something that we all must pay attention to. The resignation of Adamu is a bad sign. It's a bad sign because it's an indicator of Tinubu's autocratic tendencies. It is an attempt by the Tinubu administration to silence every dissenting voices. It is a consolidation move by people that belong to the Tinubu power bloc. So what it means is this: anybody who did not agree with Tinubu is removed. So that way they force every other person to be 100% compliant with Tinubu, and that is dangerous for Nigeria. It is a sign that there is likely to be an interference at the tribunal. So we should not rejoice. We should actually take it as a sign that we must act on. It is a sign that Nigerians should stand up and defend the integrity of our democracy, defend the integrity of the rule of law, of separation of powers, of due process. Due process. It is a sign. And worst of all, it is a reminder of the things that Tinubu did in Lagos. It is an indicator that there is likely to be a legalization of what should ordinarily be morally and legally wrong. Because look at it. Look at what has happened in the National Assembly. With what has happened, anything the National Assembly passes becomes law. If the National Assembly wakes up today now and decides that it is okay to do drugs and makes a law that says that it is okay to do drugs, it becomes a law and it becomes allowed. If the National Assembly wakes up and decides that it is okay to cheat, it is okay to steal government money in certain ways to be used, it is to be used for personal interest, it becomes a law. So the National Assembly that should normally be a check and a balance, or that should normally provide checks and balances, that should normally ensure the adherence to the rule of law. Now that it seems that it has been dissolved into the executives, what it means is that whatever the executive wants, that's what they do. Whatever the executives want, that's what they do. In Lagos, this was what Tinubu did that enabled the passing of what should ordinarily be criminal and immorally wrong. He made it right. And what was that? The Lagos Pensions Law, where 6 vehicles will be bought for the former governor every 3 years. 6 SUVs, where they are given staff in excess of 20, where there is overseas medical trip, overseas education trip for the governor and his family, where there is a police orderly. That what should normally be morally wrong, what should normally be illegal, was made to be legal because of this tendency that Tinubu has to suppress every dissenting voice. That's what is coming up with the resignation of Abdullahi Adamu. And Nigerians should beware. Nigerians should beware. What happened in Lagos is about to happen in the whole of Nigeria. All opposition voices are about being suppressed. Look at what is happening. Look at the smooth passage of the bill. Oh, sorry, not the bill now. The smooth passage of the approval for the 500 billion naira, $800 million loan from the World Bank. There are 182 opposition lawmakers in the National Assembly: Labour, PDP, SDP, YPP. All of them, they're 182. They are the majority. Opposition are the majority in the National Assembly. But look at what Tinubu has done to all of them. Tinubu, with this his tendency of shutting opposition, and he does it in 2 ways. It is either he threatens you or he bribes you, this way or that way. And you can see it in the loan, in the so-called 500 billion palliatives, unsolicited palliatives of 70 billion naira that they are now claiming is for chair and renovation, another 40 billion for cars, then 35 billion for the judiciary. These are the ways that Tinubu operates. And if you don't see the danger in it, I will try to explain it. And I pray God that your eyes be open. What it means is that out of the over 200 million Nigerians, Tinubu manages to get maybe 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 persons that will dance to his tune. Because if you take everybody in the National Assembly, they are about 500. Take everybody in the agency and ministry, department and agency, maybe another 500. That's 1,000. Take all the state governors. So everything comes to about maybe 2,000 persons. Put together or add on top of that some of the contractors, the federal contractors. Then you have another 500. So maximum 5,000 people. 5,000 people that will just be benefiting from what should ordinarily belong to the whole 200 million people of Nigeria. So those 5,000 people are now the ones that will now be siphoning, that will now be benefiting from the collective patrimony of all Nigerians. And what does Tinubu need to do? So far as he is able to get those people to do his bidding by any means necessary, by means that you and I may not see, whether underhand or overhand, so long as he is able to get those people to do his bidding, the remainder of the population of Nigeria are doomed. They are doomed, and he's achieving this so far with very minimal opposition, very minimal resistance. And Nigerians should beware. I know all eyes should be on the judiciary, but we must not be quiet while these kind of things happen. Else, there might be no mandate to reclaim at the judiciary. Because with the way things are going, it is a build-up. It is a build-up to suppressing everybody, to decomposing and dissolving the three arms of government into one. Already, the legislature looks like an extension of the executive, and they are on their way to making it the same for the judiciary. So if we keep quiet and just take the resignation of the APC chairman as one of those things, we might just be doing it at our own risk. Yes, they should fight amongst themselves. They should begin to expose themselves. But we should watch out for the signs. And the sign is not good for Nigeria. What is happening within the APC is not good. What is happening even beyond the APC for Nigeria is not good. Nobody is talking about the fact that the fuel subsidy is a fraud. All the persons that are supposed to point it out that the fuel subsidy was a fraud and that there was no need to remove fuel subsidy in the first place, and that what should have been done should have been to go after those who have fraudulently collected fuel subsidy money. All the people that could have said that, they have all been silenced. They have all been silenced. All the people that could have complained about, oh, why are our refineries not working? All the people that could have raised that question, they're all being silenced. In fact, they are all being made to sing the tune of Tinubu right now. They are telling you that, oh, it is not the business of government to build refineries. Meanwhile, they forget that there is no serious state countries. There's no serious government across the world that does not have state refineries. In fact, not only state refineries, there's a company that builds and manufactures cars in Algeria. In Tunisia, they are state-owned. Algeria has state-owned refineries. Egypt has state-owned refineries. Angola has state-owned refineries. Those are in Africa. China has state-owned refineries. Do you believe that China is actually an oil-producing country? Afghanistan, Pakistan, they have state-owned refineries. Saudi Arabia, Iran, they have state-owned refineries. The people that are supposed to tell you that Nigeria is supposed to have a state-owned refineries running and working, those people are being silenced. The way Adamu has just been silenced. The way Omisore has just been silenced. Look, these people have done their own fair share of corruption, as it will seem. But for them to be removed, it's not sufficient. They should be prosecuted. I am not standing brief for Adamu or for Omisore at all. In fact, what I'm saying is this. that Nigerians should shine their eyes and see the handwritings on the wall that an autocratic leader is in the making. There is a tendency of Tinubu drifting towards the path of totalitarianism, where every dissenting voice is suppressed. Look at what is happening with the DSS. Normally, the DSS should swear allegiance to the president and to the... Normally, the DSS should swear allegiance to the president so far as the president is working and operating within the confines of the law. Because before they swear allegiance to the president, when the president is sworn in, they have sworn allegiance to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In fact, their allegiance ultimately should be to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to defend the sovereignty of Nigeria. That's what the DSS and all the security operatives are supposed to do. In fact, there is something called an illegal order. When a president issues an illegal order, the security operatives are supposed to call him to order and remind him that that is not protocol. It is allowed within the Constitution for the security operatives to remind the president that his order is illegal. No security agency is bound to implement an illegal order from the president because their allegiance is to the Constitution, not to the president, ultimately. But what do we find with the DSS? Would you call what is happening in Nigeria right now, with the case of Emefiele, with the case of Bawa, with the case of Nnamdi Kanu, with the case of Sambo Dasuki, with the case of El Zakzaki, would you say that the current administration of Tinubu has respect for the rule of law, or for due process, or for separation of powers? In normal situation, it is the security operatives, the security agencies, the DSS that should be reminding the president that, look, what you're doing is unconstitutional. But that's not what we are seeing. Rather, what we are seeing is a usurpation of the security agencies for carrying out the personal bidding or the interest of the president. That should not be. And that's what we're seeing play out. We should be where we should be wary. We should rise up and say no to this totalitarianism, to this autocracy in the making. Because if we don't, what happened in Lagos will happen in Nigeria. And it has already started. The Alpha Beta company has been contracted, from reports that we see, by agencies in Abuja like AMAC to recruit their thugs for revenue collection. Do you see them around Abuja now? Do you see them around Abuja? People that when you see them, you just know this one is a thug. In fact, many times they are drinking, they are smoking Igbo in public with their eyes red as if they just painted it red with red color. And they do all manner of things to embarrass motorists. If they see you in a Kia, they see you in any vehicle that looks like it's official, they are in front of you, they are removing your plate number, they are all manner of things. In fact, beating up people at some point. These are the kind of things that we'll begin to see if we keep quiet. We may not make it to the judiciary. We may not make it to the end of the judiciary if we keep quiet. Nigerians must begin to speak up. The resignation of Adamu is a sign. It's a sign that Nigeria is sliding into an autocracy. And we must speak against it. We must not be quiet.